What it do? We back. Got another episode of putting it together. We on Ancestry.com today, as promised. If you didn't watch the first episode we did on Mike Rubin and that white party, Lil Baby, and Meek Mill, we got to Ancestry.com through the back door. So, Mike Rubin, former Philadelphia 76ers owner, now the owner of Fanatics, has a business partner named Mike Bingle, who is on the board at Fanatics and is also on the Ancestry.com board, and he also is on the board at Silver Lakes Investments, which is the company that owns WME Music, William Morris Endeavors, and that's where Meek Mills is signed to currently. They also got Ben Affleck, J-Lo. It's a bunch of celebrities that signed there, a lot of which you could see at Mike Rubin's white party. But as we pass Ancestry.com in this list, I thought it was interesting that a guy that works so close with the NBA, owns a company like Fanatics, also seems to have some type of cross-vested interest in Ancestry.com, or at least Mike Bingle does, who is a close associate of Mike Rubin. So, I pointed it out because you see an influx of foreign athletes, non-American athletes in the NBA right now, and they get a lot of praise. And, some of them's good. We had cats like Akeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing and, who I'm leaving out. But yeah, we had cats like that. So, we know that there's foreigners, Africans that play ball and play ball well. But it seems to be like an American-dominated sport, and I feel like it's because it is genuinely an American sport. You see a similar sport played by the Mayans with a rubber ball, and I just feel like these people are in the business of rewriting history every way that they can. So I made the claim in a prior video. If you ain't watch it, go back and watch it, like it, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But I made the claim that Ancestry.com is a hoax. And a lot of people believe that it can do something that it was never designed to do, which is tell the country of origin that a person comes from just based on the DNA that they pull. I know they can't do that because in the explanation of how it works, they have to have a pool of DNA that they compare yours to. So you really at the liberty of whatever it is, whatever DNA they've chose to include in this company's pool of data. That's the closest comparisons they can give you to what your DNA strand is. So it's really very comparative. So to be able to act like it can pinpoint a place that a person's from, it can't. It can only tell you that your DNA might be similar to a pool of DNA that they have from a particular location, which really means little to nothing to try to tell a person where they originate from, which is what I see a lot of people buying into it for. But we'll get on into some of these pages. Let's see, Ancestry.com LLC is an American genealogy company based in Lehigh, Utah. the largest for-profit genealogy company in the world. It operates a network of genealogical historical records and related genetic genealogy websites. So, first thing I wanted you to see is the Lehigh, Utah. You'll see a lot of people believe that Ancestry.com is ran by Mormons, which is partially true, but not all the way true, because the original owner, he was from Utah, but claims that he was not a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. But it was owned by some Mormons for a portion of time. But look, here's something else important I wanted y'all to see on this page. Is on December 4th, 2020, the Blackstone Group acquired the company in a deal valued at $4.7 billion. The Blackstone Group, for those of you that don't know, probably everybody watching this video has heard of them. Whether you attributed it to memory or not is another thing. But the Blackstone Group is allegedly the ones responsible for the 2008 housing crisis. We're going to get into them a little bit in just a second. But here you see, in 1990, Paul Brent Allen, not to be confused with Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen or the Allen Holding CEO Paul Allen, and Dan Taggart, two Brigham Young University graduates, founded Infobases and began offering Latter-day Saints publications on floppy disks. So they had this company that they started, and they basically bought another company from the other guy that I was mentioning, who's supposedly not a Mormon. They bought the name from him, Ancestry.com. But you got Paul Brent Allen, right? And Dan Taggart. So, as I started looking into this, Dan Taggart, we'll go straight into his. Let me see. Ancestry.com co-founder, 50 years old, charged with sexually abusing a 15-year-old friend of his daughter and giving her alcohol, showing her porn, and attacking her during a sleepover. So this is Dan Taggart. This is one of the previous owners of the company, really one of the founders. They, as I said, him and Paul Brent Allen bought the name from another guy. And these guys both went to Brigham Young University. And I say that because Brigham Young is like a notoriously racist university. They just got lots of racist allegations against them and a very low minority enrollment. Well, you know what? We'll go straight into this video. So then y'all can hear what I just told you about the limits of the DNA test. You can hear from a quote-unquote reputable source, which would be Henry Louis Gates Jr., who runs the what's that show? Finding Your Roots. He does Finding Your Roots on PBS, where he uses these DNA companies to track people's celebrities' ancestry back and put together this whole record and show them family members that they missed or might not know of, which that's possible for the DNA test to do. If they have a pool of some of your family members' DNA and then they get yours, they could connect you with people in your family that you didn't know was in your family, but they could also mix it up Well, they've had a lot of claims of mixing it up and just telling people that people with the same last name or things of that nature was in their family, and they actually weren't. They actually weren't related to them. But here we go. Finding Your Roots. This the show right here. If y'all haven't seen, make it big. It's Finding Your Roots with Henry Louis Gates Jr. is a documentary television series hosted by Henry Louis Gates Jr. that premiered on March 25th, 2012 on PBS. And each episode, celebrities are presented with a book of life that is compiled with information researched by professional genealogists that allows them to view their ancestral histories, learn about familiar connections, and discover secrets about their lineage. The thing about Henry Louis Gates Jr., as you can see, a black dude, he does a lot of black celebrities, and I believe they in the business of telling blacks more often than not that they from Africa. And we gonna get into this topic deeper in some more videos. But yeah, I believe lots of history is geared towards telling black Americans that we all came from Africa on boats and all of this, because I believe we the true indigenous of America. We the indigenous people of America, and they want us to believe we from somewhere else so they can claim our land. But they always adopt blacks to help in that mission. So here's one of them, Henry Louis Gates, and that's in my opinion. But we'll go to this video I got of him where he's telling you that they cannot do what they put off that they can. Here we go.
From Nubia, none, zero. When Oprah was finally in the first series, and we gave her a DNA test, none of our ancestors. Problem with being either Zulu or Nubian, if you're African American. You know what the problem is? None of our ancestors who came here in slavery came from South Africa, the Zulu people, or from Nubia. None, zero. When Oprah was finally in the first series, and we gave her a DNA test, basically the next day she went to South Africa to announce that she was opening what became the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy. She was in an auditorium of like 75,000 people or something, and she announced that she just had the test and that she was Zulu. So it broke on CNN. I was sitting in my living room minding my own business and said, Oprah Winfrey's a Zulu. So I called Rick Kittles, and I said, Rick, did you tell Oprah she was a Zulu? He goes, no, man, she made that up herself. It's a true story. It's a true story. I would lie to make you laugh, but I'm telling you a true story. So I said, Rick, are you in your lab? He said, yeah. I said, is anybody there? He said, no. I said, when the results come in, make her a Zulu, man. You know? I said, you back there making it up anyway. I said, you back there making it up anyway. Nobody believe you could take some spit and figure out a tribe? What are you, crazy? Nobody believe you could take some spit and figure out a tribe? What are you, crazy? Nobody believe you could take some spit and figure out a tribe? What are you, crazy?
But the problem is, Sierra Leone wasn't the only answer Vi got. A company called Relative Genetics found a match to a single person in the Wobi tribe in the Ivory Coast.
Different?
Different.
Now, I got all excited about that, and this is different? Now, how could that happen?
Then a third company, Trace Genetics. Your particular sequence matches sequences reported among multiple Mendanka individuals in Senegal.
What's up with this?
And Family Tree DNA, the company that linked Vi with Marion in the first place, came up with a whole list of matches. This goes on and on.
My goodness.
So what do we know about Vi's ancestry? The DNA does indicate that she has distant relatives in the Mende tribe, but she also has relatives in all those other tribes. So no one can say for sure where Vi's maternal ancestor actually came from. So no one can say for sure where Vi's maternal ancestor actually came from.
For DNA kits called into question. They are the kind advertised on TV claiming to trace your ancestry. A woman says she used 2 different popular services to trace her family history and got wildly different results. Fox 32's Tia Ewing reports.
And I was shocked.
Smith's breakdown from Ancestry showed 97% European and 2% Asian.
I'm a black girl. I am not a Jewish white lady. I'm black. My parents were black.
She contacted Ancestry with questions, but says a rep told her the results are accurate.
She told me there was no way they could have made an error.
Smith decided to try again, but this time she submitted a DNA to 23andMe.
And the results were very different, but they were not a surprise to me.
The 23andMe findings showed 70% African for Smith, after Ancestry's findings showed none.
Both kits can't be right. One of them has to be wrong.
These DNA tests for ethnicity are entertainment value only. Entertainment value only. Entertainment value only.
Entertainment value only. So, as you can see, people get these tests, though, thinking that it's more than entertainment value. It means a lot to people. So that's why I felt like I needed to make this video, because I run a page, Aboriginal.official on Instagram. Y'all should go check it out. And it has lots of facts and information showing what I just stated earlier, is that a lot of black Americans are actually the Aboriginal Americans. And, you know, a lot of people end up disputing some of the things that I say on that page based off of these ancestry tests, which don't have validity. They have no validity. So I felt like, you know, I'll put that out there, but we'll get deeper into some of this to compound on top of what we just saw in this video. Like I was saying, they using pools of DNA and comparing your DNA to these pools. They might be from Africa, they might be from Europe or whatever. And I feel like they in the business of telling black Americans easily that they from sub-Saharan Africa. But the thing is, they don't have any way on those tests to tell if a person's actually from America. They can't tell you where you're from anyway, but the pools of DNA that they have on them don't contain Aboriginal American DNA. And you could find this Aboriginal American DNA at mound sites. They call them American mound sites. And if you go to my page, aboriginal.official, you'll get to see extensively all the mounds I visited, and you can see what I'm talking about. But these mounds have skeletons from the oldest people known to this land underneath them. And it's a lot of legal issues, but that DNA, I know for a fact, cannot be even included on these Ancestry.com pools and 23andMe pools. They don't have any of that DNA to even be comparing people's spit to that. So for them to be able to tell you that you was from America and they don't even have any of the oldest American DNA on the pool to compare it to, it's not happening. But yeah, let's get deeper into some of this, man. Like we saw, Blackstone Group currently owns it, and we know Silver Lakes also has a huge stake in Ancestry.com, because that's how we got here, Silver Lake. And I showed some of the corruption and things that was going on that side. in my first video, but we'll first start off with this ancestry team. And here's the executives. You got Deborah Liu, I believe, who's the president and CEO. And as I pointed out in the other video on Endeavor Group, no, that was Silver Lake Investments, they board was a Chinese, I guess a Chinese or Asian American, I'd say. They had an Asian American as in the same position as this woman. And I told y'all, like, I don't have nothing against Asians, but it's interesting that these huge companies who's eating up all of these other companies within America and across the globe, they having Asians at the helm. But we'll scroll on down. Got Howard Hockhauser, I guess. And as you can see, no diversity on the board. I guess they gonna say this guy's diverse, but we have no representatives on this board. So while we would think they would be in the business of doing anything other than what I said, which is misleading blacks from where they true place of origin might actually be. And as you can see, the company derived, here go the experts. We'll just look through this real quick. Here we go. Another Asian. Then this looks like what could possibly be a transgender black, because the name is Ashley, but it looks like a boy. And I'm not sure. I'm just going off looks, you know. I'm just saying what I see. That's one black person. Okay, we go to the board members. Nothing sticking out. Nope. Deborah Liu. We got the same people. And the board is where that's where Mike Bingle, the guy from Fanatics, sitting on this board as well. Then of course you got the investors. You got Blackstone and GIC. We'll see what GIC is. And I just track back because, you know, I want to be thorough, save y'all some time of doing this. I'll put my fingers to work. GIC is an Asian-based company. That's what I was trying to show. Here we go. Their leadership. Singapore is where GIC is from. So you got a Singapore group with Blackstone, who's like a doomsday company damn near, man. We gonna get into Blackstone, but I just wanted you to see GIC. So you got a group of, it's not Chinese, they're from Singapore, but Asians with huge interest in this. Then we know we got the Mormons who started it. So you got the Mormons and the Asians, and then you go to Mike Rubinstein and them, and you got the Jewish. And we saw one black person on the board. So I can safely say, as of right now, that doesn't look like they have black interests in mind. But let's go to Blackstone. Blackstone. So we got Blackstone and the deforestation of the Amazon rainforest, illegal child labor allegations, and the United Nations condemnation of the Invitation Homes Project and lobbying efforts, which is basically another one of these funny real estate schemes that Blackstone be running to upend people's governments and destabilize economies and the real estate market. We'll go up here. I'll let you see how deep some of their investments are. As you can see, they own or have interest in everything. Motel 6, Night Capital. I mean, it's just, this is a list. This is just going through the years. So let me give you the Blackstone is an American alternative investment management company based in New York City. Blackstone's private equity business has been one of the largest investors in leveraged buyouts in the last 3 decades, while its real estate business has actively acquired commercial real estate. Blackstone is also active in credit, infrastructure, hedge funds, insurance, secondaries, and growth equity. As of Q1 2023, the company's total assets under management were approximately $991 billion, making it the largest alternative investment firm globally. So, as you can see, they are super beyond power player. These is, when you say they, this is some of the people that you refer to when you say they, or like the powers that be, is Blackstone, not the powers that be. They got a name. Here we go. Blackstone was founded in 1985 by Peter G. Peterson and Stephen A. Schwartzman with $400,000 in seed capital. So let's go to Stephen A. Schwartzman. Stephen A. Schwartzman is an American billionaire businessman. He is the chairman and CEO of the Blackstone Group, a global private equity firm. We knew that. That's how we got here. Former chairman and CEO of Lehman Brothers and U.S. Secretary of Commerce under President Richard Nixon. Schwartzman was briefly chairman of President Donald Trump's Strategic Policy Forum, whatever that is. But here we go. What I wanted y'all to see is this. He attended Yale University, where he was a member of Senior Society Skull and Bones, and founded the Davenport Ballet Society. So they telling you right here in Wikipedia that the man was a member of Skull and Bones. What they don't depend on everybody knowing is what Skull and Bones does. But I'm going to assume the bulk of y'all who's came here through me probably know what Skull and Bones is about. If you don't, look it up, and let me know in the comments who all don't know. And I'll make a video on Skull and Bones. But let me just tell you, Skull and Bones is tied to the Illuminati. These is the powers that be people. So you got a known Skull and Bones member running Blackstone Group, who runs Ancestry.com, who likes to tell black people what country they come from, but as we're beginning to see, don't seem to have any any vested interest in the best for us. I was going to say don't have any interest in us. They do have interest. They just don't have our best interest in mind. And that's what I'm putting together right here. So we got this guy, Skull and Bones member. On one side, this is the firm that bought it from the Mormons. Now we'll go back. Here go Dad Blue. Let's see what we go to next. We'll go to some of Blackstone allegations while we on them. So, my bad. Blackstone allegations. I'm just gonna read some of the headlines so we can save some of this time. We'll have to get into all of these allegations. I think y'all can catch the drift once they said $991 billion that they managing. You know a monopoly when you see one. But Italy investigates Blackstone-owned LIA insurer over tax evasion. The United Nations accusing Blackstone Group of contributing to the global housing crisis. Blackstone blocked investor withdrawals from $71 billion. Let me see. Blackstone co-founder says company struggle to hire women. Blackstone, a repeat offender in healthcare fraud settlements. Blackstone Labs founder sentenced to conspiracy to sell anabolic steroids. I mean, the list goes on. The list goes on in the allegations against Blackstone. So you kind of get the drift of what kind of company we messing with. Skull and Bones is the leader of this investment firm, and they got allegations stemming from the smallest to, I mean, the largest, legitly. Now, let me see. Oh, yeah, let's get into some of these Mormons, right? You saw that first Mormon guy with the sexual. He don't work with the company no more. That was Dan Taggart. They sold the company, the Blackstone. But let me just show you how it was started. Because even though, let's say Ancestry is not run by Mormons currently, the thing is, the Mormons hold a database. They got a database, a historical database that all of these DNA companies pull from. So even 23andMe and all of these other companies, they all pull from what is a Mormon historical records. And as you can see, some of these allegations against Brigham Young, we could do a whole video on Brigham Young and the Mormon religion. But for those of y'all that know, the Mormons are kind of elitist, and they got lots of racial allegations, of pretty much a racist history against not only the American Indians, but also including Black Americans. As you can see, when people play there, Brigham Young University apologizes, bans fans over racist slurs. They always yelling the N-word in the crowds. They enrollment's low. The students that go there got lots of allegations that they be alienated. The minority students that do go there, they have claims of racism where people been racist against them. So you see the Mormons holding the records that they even pulling from. So why we would think they would have interest in connecting black people with their origin or anything like that, I just can't see it. They seem to be against that, actually, or into the game of misleading. Here we go. It's just something more to back up what I was saying earlier. There's no way for them to prove that you're an American Indian. But that's also for other ethnicity. There's no real way for them to prove where you're from either. I hear they have an extensive catalog of European historical records, so they could probably do better in connecting Europeans or whites, Caucasians, maybe Asians better with their family than they can for blacks. But they definitely can't do what they putting on that they can do. Let me see what else I had here. This is off livescience.com. You got a few geneticists speaking about how they getting over on people. I'll just read some of it for y'all. It says anyone with a spare $100 to $900 can buy a DNA ancestry kit. Self-collection of DNA requires only a quick swab of the inside of the mouth to gather cheat cells. Mail that smear back to the company. Mail that smear back, and the company will then compare your DNA to various other samples. But claims that this analysis will tell you much about where you came from are downright fraudulent. Anthropologist Deborah Balnick of the University of Texas at Austin and 14 co-authors recently reported, instead of tracing your genetic past, what we get is a scientific scam. It sure looks like science, says anthropologist Jonathan Marks of the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, one of the authors of the study. Well, it is science. It's done by scientists, and it's done on DNA samples, and it produces real data. But Marks points out these companies are preying on the public because they simply don't have enough comparative information to pinpoint a gene on a world map. They might match your DNA to some group on some continent, but what they don't tell you is that you would probably also match the group next door if only they had some of those samples as well. So it's like I was telling you earlier, it's very comparative. So basically, I just wanted to touch on that. I won't be too long-winded on here, but for those of you that's bought ancestry kits or was thinking about buying them, I just wouldn't do it. Unless you just was looking for some family members that you lost, I wouldn't do it to try to prove where you're from. But man, I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Come back, like, share, subscribe. I'm going to get back with you. Peace.